Narayana.
Very Trimali. Narayana. Now, okay, today what is the topic that we are talking about? Yasya bhavat bhaktajana artihantahu viduttamanyeshu vichari purnam stambhevataraswamanyalabhyam Lakshmi Nrsimham Sharanam Prabhajyahe Sriman Venkatanathārya Kavitarkikesari Vedantacharya Vadyome Sanittam Dāhri.
The recording has started.
Aham Madrakshana Pharantha Namaste Pate Revetchatmanam Shikeputah Yashyama Kinchana Sriman Anukuloni Vajjita Vishwasa Prarthana Prasum Artharaksha Pharantvi Swamy Svasesham Sosham Savratyan Param Paratasriya Swartam Swamin Yasasimam Swayam Sriman Navishwartha Tamas Mishranankarah Etad Dehasarimam Tukpadam Prapi Swayam Vacheshate Sriyam Taprapyaka Prayojanam Nishchitam Iritam Kurumam Nichakita Deki Pushahitya Vishwasa Bhagam Sava Nityam Nirvadeshu Venkatyeshu Yukshumam Maam Varadasvi Guru Swayam Tadekarakshmatmeva Karunakara न प्रवर्तयत् मात्रादि प्रवर्तयत् निवर्तय उच्चारणं च कर्णं कुर्जानां वर्जनं च मे क्षमस्वीकरं देव प्रणतार्तिहर प्रभो श्रीमन्नितपञ्चाङ्गं मत्लक्ष्मतार्पणम् अचीकरम् निर्भरः कवितार्तिकसिंहाय कल्याणगुणशालिने श्रीमते वेङ्कटेशाय वेदान्तगुरवे नमः पञ्चान्नपराक्रमः श्रीमान् वेङ्कटनाथार्यः चरं विजेतां भवे श्रीरामानुजसिद्धान्तनिर्धारणधुरन्धरः द्वेषगोपाख्याय ध्रुववेदां भवे ओम अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः ओम अस्मत्परमगुरुभ्यो नमः ओम अस्मत्सर्वगुरुभ्यो नमः लक्ष्मीनाथसमारम्भां नाथयामुनमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. नारायण
वेदांत प्लीज चैंट आचार्य वेदांत देशकृत पदाब्ज भृंगम नारायण कृपाभिषक्तम श्रीरामनाथ कृष्ण श्री कृष्ण देशिकं हम प्रपत्ति श्रीमते श्री कृष्ण देशिकं नमः अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः अस्मत्परमगुरुभ्यो नमः सर्वगुरुभ्यो नमः.
Narayana. Okay, ma, what is the topic for today, ma? Did we complete Daya Shatakam and Sankshepa Ramayanam, ma?
Sankshepa Ramayanam finished, Swami. Daya Shatakam 90th slogan.
Shall we complete that today?
Yes, Swami.
Okay, ma. Sriman Venkatanathārya Kavitarkikesari Vedantacharya Vadyome Sannidhattam Sada Hridi Shri Krishna Parabrahmani Namaha Venkatati Samam Kshetram Brahmande Nasti Kanchana Venkatesha Samo Devaha Na Bhuto Na Bhavishyati. So, Bhagavan Srinivasa's Daya personified is there, just flowing. In the most unimaginable way. Ikshusara Shravancheva Yan Murchya Sharkaraitam. Ikshusara Shravanti Eva Yan Murchya Sharkaraitam. Sugar cane juice, if it is there as a liquid, yes, you can enjoy. But the same thing, if it is there solidified, you will enjoy it much better as a sugar candy. And this Daya has solidified and became Ikshusara Sravant Eva. How beautiful will be that any time you want, you can enjoy the Daya of Lord Srinivasa. So after describing all the Dashavataras, because in the 89th shlokam he says, Prabhuta Vibhudat Vishadharana Kidna Vishwambhara Bharaparena Kshalat Tvam Avatarya Lakshmi Dharam Nirakrutavati Daye Nirmasodha Deepashriya Vipashchidavigitaya Jagati Gitayantham Tamaha. So for the unimaginable mercy of Daya Devi, bringing the Supreme Lord of Sri Mahalakshmi, Sriman Narayana, as Bhagavan Sri Krishna, into this planet, onto this planet Earth, is only a pretext. Because Bhagavan has already decided did the sankalpam to eliminate all the demons, to reduce the burden of Mother Earth. So where is the Daya Devi coming into picture here? So it is actually the mercy of Daya Devi, Daya Devi's mercy, that she wanted to wipe out the ignorance, the darkness of all the people in all the universes. That's why Daya Devi brought Bhagavan Sri Krishna, who gave the great Bhagavad Gita, which is praised by all the scholars, Shankara, Ramanuja, Madhva. And this Bhagavad Gita is like a dazzling lamp in the mansion called the Vedas. That's why Bhagavan Krishna says, Vedaishcha sarvaihi ahameva vedyo. Vedaishcha sarvaihi aham eva vedyo. Vedanta krudvena videva chaham. Mahatma Desika, an embodiment of knowledge, with the Paripurna Kataksha of Hayagriva and Garuda, could compose thousands and thousands of verses in praise of his chosen deities, Krishna, Rama, Sriman Narayana, Srinivasa, Varadaraja. There is no end for the compositions, and more so, very much attracted to the mercy of the Lord of Seven Hills, because that is where his mother got the dream of swallowing the bell of Lord Srinivasa, Ghantavatara. Surprisingly, if you see here the way Desika plays, in the case of Gopala Vimshati, Desika did not even bring Bhagavad Gita at all. All activities of Nanda Gokulam and Vrindavanam only. In the very beginning itself, Vande Vrindavana Charam Vallavi Jana Vallabham. He has made it very clear. Gopala Vimshati is only about that Vrindavana Charam, means the events of Vrindavana. And more so, Vallavi Jana Vallabham. Vallavi Jana, the most fortunate Gopikas. Sometimes if you think, many great devotees are very jealous of the Gopikas. They just want to follow the footsteps of the Gopikas. Be it Mahatma Vedanta Desika, where he says, Jayati Kitavaha Gopi Kaumarahari, or Mahatma Vedavyasa, Kitava Yoshitaha Krishna Kashi Jeer Nishit, or Leela Shuta, or Jayadeva. Everywhere they were extremely in love with Krishna, and they all used to express their love for Krishna through the Gopikas, even going to the extent of calling him you the wicked scoundrel. But here in Daya, he is dealing with altogether a different aspect of the Lord, Daya. That is the reason why here, as far as Krishna is concerned, he is not mentioning now here anything about the Gopikas or anything, except the Bhagavad Gita. For the simple reason, out of his mercy, otherwise where do we stand, or where we will be, with regards to the simplified version of all the Vedas. Vedaishcha sarvaihi ahameva vedyo. Even though Bhagavan Krishna says aham eva vedyo, the so-called philosophers, Mayavadis, they always interpret, oh, even though Krishna said aham, that Krishna doesn't even have form. Then if Krishna doesn't have form, why are they worshipping Krishna? Why are they even taking Bhagavad Gita? Only for their own benefit they want to use Bhagavad Gita. But when it comes to accepting Krishna as Paradaivam, as a Saguna Brahman, their ego is there standing in the way. That is the problem with the Soham dash. That is why great Acharya say, don't even think of entertaining such ideas. Because that idea is so silly. As an ignorant person, person who has just, say, $22 in the bank account and thinks I am Bill Gates. As silly as that. Being Anu, being the minutest of the minutest portion of creation, Anu, a small atom, thinking that I am equal to Vibhu, even if a trillion and a trillion and a trillion and trillion atoms are there put together, will never be equal to one Vibhu. So Bhagavan Sri Krishna, out of his own mercy, has given us. Every time when he says in the very first person, Aham, Vedaischa Sarvai Ahameva Vejo, having studied the whole Vedas, if they have not understood that Supreme Lord Sriman Narayana is Parva Karna Murti, Shatgunya Paripurna, then what is the use of that knowledge? That is the reason why. Kulashekara Alvar Mukundamara says, Gajasnanam Vina, yet Padat Vandam Porga Sanskritar Vijayate Devasta Narayana. Amnaya Sanam Aranyavitam. If they have studied the Vedas, if they have not understood the supremacy of Lord Sriman Narayana as the Son of Brahma, it is almost like you are shouting in a forest where there is nobody even to reply to you. Or it is like Gajasnanam. Gajasnanam, an elephant goes into the river to take a nice bath. But the minute it comes out of the water, it will just come there, either roll on the ground, or with its huge trunk it will inhale all the dust and then exhale it back onto its own body. If you want to cover yourself with the dust, what is the point in taking a bath? If you want to say yourself everything is Maya, 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 then why even study Maya? Bhagavad Gita? Your study of Bhagavad Gita is also Maya. Then why are you studying? So that is the kind of Mayavada philosophy that they have. That's why Bhagavad Ramanuja or Madhvacharya could not accept the Advaita Siddhanta of Shankara. Krishna specifically says, Man manabhava, mad bhakto, mad yaji, mam namaskuru. In spite of saying mam namaskuru, they say Krishna doesn't have a form. He is Nirguna. That is their way of understanding. So Bhagavan Sri Krishna's coming is only out of his causeless mercy to give us the great scripture, Sarvo Panchado Gavo Dokta Doparanandana, Partho Vasa Sudhir Bhokta Guttam Gita Mudamaha. Now to talk about the Kalki, who is yet to come. Who is yet to incarnate. So here he says about the upcoming Kalki Avatara. Kalki Avatara in this Kali Yuga. It is beautifully mentioned over here in a beautiful verse that we all can enjoy. And he says, Vrushatri Hayasajiraha Prabalador Marut Prekshitaha Krishasputa Tatit Gunas Tadavaseka Samskarava Karishyati Daye Kali Prabala Dharma Nirmulanaha Purahkruta Yugankuram Bhuvi Krupana Dharadharaha Bhuvi Krupana Dharadharaha Krupana Dharadharaha, having a beautiful sword in his hands. Bhagavan Sri Hari is going to appear as a Kalki Avatara. And we should be fortunate. Actually, we don't have to wait that long. We can as well go to Sri Vaikuntham and wait there to enjoy the appearance of Sriman Narayana as Kalki in Kali Yuga. We don't have to wait for another 105,000 years. For another 105,000 years, we don't have to wait. So that is the one given here. When Mahatma Desika says, Vrushadri Hayasadinaha Prabhada Dor Marut Prinkitaha. O Daya Devi, the Lord of Vrishabhadri, Bhagavan Sri Srinivasa, is certainly going to come, appear, incarnate as Kalki. He will be riding a white horse. Haya Sadinaha. And he will be having a sword in his hand, an unimaginable sword which looks like a lightning. And if he just swings that sword with his mighty shoulders, yet that swinging the sword with the mighty shoulders is only to wipe out the Rakshasas, the demons. But at the same time, he will be raining his mercy, his unimaginable Daya, to wipe out all the sins, that are haunting this Kali Yuga. And those sins have resulted in the form of unbearable heat for Mother Earth. Why that raining his mercy? That raining his mercy is to, when it rains, the heat can be dissipated. When Bhagavan's mercy is there raining, the unbearable heat of the sins of this Kali Yuga will simply be wiped out. Then Dharma will be there on all its 4 feet, resembling Kali Yuga as Krita Yuga. Dharma Devata has 4 feet. Do you remember what are the 4 feet of the Dharma Devata? What are the 4 feet of Dharma Devata? No? Satyam, Daya, Danam, Tapasya. Dharma Devata in Krita Yuga was there on all the 4 feet. Satyam, Daya, Satyam. There is nothing superior to Satyam. Satyam Param Dhimahi, very first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Daya, having mercy. That is why Bhagavan always says Ahimsa Samata Tushtihi, non-violence, having compassion for every living entity. Dhanam, giving to the poor, to the unfortunate, sharing our wealth. It need not be physical wealth, it can be even your knowledge, jnana. Dhanam and tapasya. These are the 4 feet of Dharma Devata. Krita Yuga, Dharma Devata was there on all the 4 feet. In Kali Yuga, only on 1 foot, where people have degraded. Even Mahatmas tell lies, lie after lie. That's the unfortunate thing. Nobody shows Daya to their fellow human beings. Everybody is worried about themselves, not about others, not the welfare of others. Dhanam. People become so greedy. There is no limit for their greediness. Even though other people are suffering, at their expense they want to enjoy luxury. They forget about charity. Tapasya, meditation on the Supreme Lord. Instead of resorting to the Divyamangala Vigraha of Lord Sriman Narayana, people will be there diverted. Kamas Taistair Hridajnanaha Prapajyanti Anya Devataha. And not even Anya Devatas, Kshudra Devatas. And not even Kshudra Devatas. Some people may not even know whom they are worshipping are Devatas or not even. What is their status? Are they Devatas, Pitrus, Ganas? It's just blind worship, not correct. Tapasya. In Tapasya, you should know three things. What is the object of your worship? What is the goal of your doing this worship? What is the means of reaching that goal? It is almost like a person without even knowing where he has to go, without even knowing which direction he has to take, without even realizing whether the path he is following is the right one or the wrong one, will keep on walking, will only give him pain, will only give him the satisfaction that he is walking, that's all. But he will not reach the goal. Yes, he will reach some point, but that point may not be the ideal one. That is the reason why Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninaha tattvadarshinaha. So those people would have taken the shelter of a good acharya who is always interested in their welfare. That is the most important thing. Unlike the acharyas who are interested only in making money. It is a shame when some people come and tell, when they go to India, see some acharyas, they will simply say, once they come to know, people are from abroad, etc. Where are you? Which country? How much you make? How much you can give? That's not the idea. That's not the intent of spiritual life. If people are there interested only in making money, why do they become acharyas? Because the Ishana Trayam that they are supposed to renounce are Dhaneshana, Dareshana, Putreshana. Dhaneshana, if it is only to make money, they could have been in the family life, right? They have to become acharyas. Dareshana, if they want to enjoy family life, why did they take sannyasa? Or why did they become acharyas? Dhaneshana, Dareshana, Putreshana. Very bad. But people are not interested in that. That is why Kali Yuga is filled with so much of problem. Varnashrama dharmas people do not follow. Varnashrama dharma, people are namesake only Brahmins. They don't do Sandhya Vandana. Even the Yajnapavetam they just renovate and then put on only on some occasions. No Sandhya Vandanam, how can they claim as Brahmanas? No Kshatriya dharma, no Vaishya dharma, no Shudra dharma. Same thing, Varnashrama, Ashrama dharmas. No Brahmachari dharma, no Grihastha dharma, no Vanaprastha dharma, no Sannyasa dharma. Everything is there revolving around money, money, money. Or sense gratification, enjoy, enjoy. Which is not going to help us to attain our goal, to reach our goal, attain salvation. Paramapadam, Sri Vaikuntham, Yad Gatva Nanivartante Tadhama Paramamama. So, when Bhagavan incarnates as Kali Yuga as Kalki, he will re-establish Dharma to be on all its four feet with the Satyam, Daya, Dharmam and Tapasya. It looks as though Kali Yuga has become Kruta Yuga. That is after 108,000 years. We don't have to wait that long. Now Mahatma Desika wants to conclude Daya Shatakam. So after Dashavatara Varnana, he says, Vishwupakaramita nama sadaduhana adhyapitevi bhavatim avadhirayantam nadhe niveshaya vakshadri patir dayetvam nyasta swarakshana bharam tvayi mam tvayaiva. Now, Desika has come to the final conclusion that nothing other than Sharanagati will please the Lord. So he is appealing to Daya Devi. Hey Daya Devi of the Lord of the Vishadri, Lord Srinivasa, Venkatadrisha, Venkateshwara, Venkatanatha, please offer me. Daya Devi, you can do anything and everything. You have so much of freedom and liberty with the Lord. Please offer me at the lotus feet of Lord Srinivasa. Why? Daya Devi, you are the only one and the only one who is thinking of doing what is good for the people, what is good for all the people in the world, with no discrimination of in which family they are born, or whether they are man or woman, or whatever be their past sins. Daya Devi, you are the only one who can offer me, every Jivatma, at the feet of the Supreme Lord Srinivasa. Now, Nyasta Swarakshana Bharam Tvayi Mam Tvayaiva. It is almost like you are telling, I offloaded my burden at your feet. Daya Devi, Nyasta Swarakshana Bharam. The burden, Bharam means the burden of my protection. The burden of my protection is now in your court. It is for you to do. How to protect me is your job, not my job. I offered myself at your feet, Daya Devi. See how beautifully Mahatma Desika talks about Sharanagati. Nyasta Swarakshana Bharam Tvayi Mam Tvayaiva. Then that burden can only be borne by you. No one else is capable of taking that kind of burden. Nadhi Niveshaya Vushatri Padehe Dayetvam. Where do you want to keep this burden? At the feet of Lord Srinivasa. Will he allow that? Yes, you have all the freedom. You have all the freedom. Can you think of an example where Daya Devi is having all the freedom? Our Acharya used to say, when a Jivatma comes for Sharanagati, when the Acharya is planning to do Sharanagati and he approaches Mahalakshmi, when Mahalakshmi presents to Sriman Narayana, when Sriman Narayana is asking, why are you recommending this kind of unimaginable sinners? Why are you bringing this kind of sinners? Mahalakshmi argues with him. Out of her abundance of mercy, she argues with Sriman Narayana. Oh, is this the meaning of Anrutam Nokta Purvami Nachavakshe Kadachana? My dear sir, you may be the Supreme Lord Sriman Narayana, but you should know one simple thing to keep up your word. What did you promise in the case of Ramavatara, sir? You promised you never told a lie and you will never tell a lie. Anrutam Nokta Purvame Nachavakshe Kadachana. Why did you say that word, sir? Ramo Dharnabhipashate. Why did you say the second sentence, sir? That Rama will never say a second sentence contradicting the first sentence. Sir, have you forgotten the first sentence that you have said? Namely, Sakrudeva Prapannaya Tavasmiti Jayachade Abhayam Sarvabhutebhyo Dadamyatad Vratamama. You gave such a bold statement that day during the Ramavatara that anybody who surrenders to you, saying that Rama, I am yours, I will give them absolute protection. Did you not say that? Did you not say, forget about giving Sharanagati to a good person like Vibhishana? Even if the worst sinner Ravana comes, you will forgive his sons and give Sharanagati? How did you forget that? Now when you refuse to accept the Sharanagati of this Jivatma, however a sinner he may be, are you not contradicting your own sentence or your own word that you will protect anyone and everyone? That is Mahalakshmi, who can do even arm twisting and corner Sriman Narayana and make him agree to our Sharanagati. Look at the Daya, the mercy of Lord Srinivasa. Mahatma Vedanta Desika says, hey Daya Devi, you are the only one capable of doing it. That is the reason why Mahatma Desika is considered as a very, very smart person. Very smart person. Very nicely he says, I offered myself at your feet. So the burden of my protection is now yours, not mine. How you are going to protect me is up to you. How you are going to protect me is up to you. My burden is there in your court. Either you protect me or you don't protect me is your choice. But I offered myself at your feet. You want to protect me? Protect me. You don't want to protect me? Fine. But I'm sure you will protect me. Why? Because that is your nature. That is your nature. Your nature is to protect. So how can you do something against your own nature? And the smart person, Vedanta Desika, has realized it and offered himself at the feet of Daya Devi and says, now the ball is in your court. And you alone can bear this kind of burden. No one else is having that kind of a broad shoulders to take the burden of all the Jivatmas and placing them at the feet of the Lord. Naisargikena tarasa karunena yukta nimnetarepi mayite vitaterisyate vismapaye vrishagirishvara apyavarya velatilanghana dashiva mahamburashe. So, again, Daya Devi is addressed as Karuna. Hey Daya Devi, I know your mercy. Daya Devi, your mercy, which is like a flood. Daya Devi's mercy is like a flood. An unimaginable flood. Now, when there is a flood, everything will be just gone with the flow. So Mahatma Desika says, hey Daya Devi, may your mercy, which is like the most powerful flood, irresistible flood, in that flood, may you immerse me also, or may I submerge myself in that flow. And he compares himself, being a Mahatma. I am very proud and very arrogant, as though I am on a very high pedestal, that you cannot drown me. It is almost like a man standing on a tree, thinking that the flood cannot affect him. If the flood wants, it can even uproot the whole tree. Or it is like an ignorant person staying in the 10th floor and saying, I am there at the 10th floor. The water level is only there at the ground floor or the second floor level. It cannot touch me. He is as ignorant to think that the flood can shake the whole foundation and make the whole building crumble. Even if you are on the 10th floor, the water need not have to reach the 10th floor. The water, if it is there submerging the foundations, that is enough to shake the foundations and make the building collapse. So, he says, hey Daya Devi, you know I am very arrogant, I am very proud. You have to control me. You have to control me. You are like a flood. Just take me along with the flow. Let me be submerged in the irresistible flood. Even if I am arrogant, just shake the foundations and then carry me. If only you can submerge me. He says in a very different way, Daya Devi, you do not know how many sins I have committed. Daya Devi, you do not know how many sins I have committed. How arrogant I am. Suppose you forgive me. Suppose you submerge me in your Daya. You know what it will be like? The ocean has a boundary. The ocean will never overstep its boundaries. Even though I am the worst sinner, if you have forgiven me and if you have given me salvation, it is almost like the ocean is crossing its boundaries. When the ocean is crossing its boundaries, even Sriman Narayana will be surprised that you are so great that you can even give salvation to a worst sinner like me. But 1 second.
12 o'clock to 6 o'clock also.
10 or 26. Sorry,
2 4 AM is there. If somebody comes now and if they want to join, they can
let them join.
but not on
They work చేస్తున్నారు.
కట్టే వాళ్ళని
టైం ఉంటే పోతాను
1 hour మీరు నేనేమనుకున్నానంటే వాట్ అయితే
11 o'clock అయిపోతుంది
వాట్ అయితే 1 hour ఉంటే 1 hour లెట్ మీ సీ వాట్
అది క్లీన్ చేస్తున్నట్టు చాలా అసహ్యంగా ఉంది. ఎవ్వరు క్లీన్ చేయడం పూజలు చేస్తున్నారు. చూడు నువ్వే పోయి చూడు. Narayana. So it is almost like, if a Vedanta Desika being a Mahatma, still he says, hey Daya Devi, if only you can save me, if only you can submerge me in that flood. It is like an unimaginable, the 8th wonder in the world, the ocean overstepping its boundaries. And even Sriman Narayana will be surprised that what he could not do, Daya Devi could do. It is poetic exaggeration, not that Narayana cannot do. Not that Narayana cannot do. Sriman Narayana will be saying, Daya Devi, you did the greatest job. That you could save even a very, very worst sinner like me. See the humility. That's called Naichyanusandhanam. So let's be very humble. Let's not think too much about ourselves. In spite of having all the Kalyana Gunas, in spite of having all the great qualities, Vedanta Desika says, you don't know how arrogant I am. You don't know how proud I am. If you can take me, submerge me, and bless me with salvation, Daya Devi, that will be the greatest wonder in the world. It will be like the oceans crossing their boundaries. That means it is like having a tsunami every day, which will make even the Supreme Lord Sriman Narayana surprised that Daya Devi can in fact save even the worst of the worst sinners. Therefore, save me, Daya Devi. That is the bottom line. The bottom line is whether we can be saved. Now, as he comes to conclude Daya Shatakam, this is again an appeal to Daya Devi to protect all of us. Desika, Mahatma Desika doesn't need any protection. He composed this only for our sake. Vijñāta śāsana gate viparīta vrucca rutrādibhih parichitān padavīm bhajāmi evam vidhe vrushagirīsha daye mayatvam dīne vibho shamaya danda dharatva leelam. another appeal to Daya Devi. O Daya Devi of Vrishabhatri, Lord Srinivasa, Vijnata Shasana Gatihi Viparita Vriksha. All these people are familiar with a proper code of conduct as given in the Dharma Shastras. But every one of us, we transgress every dharma. It's like, every one of us are like Vrittarasura, who knows the dharma but still violate it. It is almost like every one of us. We know on some roads the speed limit is only 30 miles. We go at 50. On some roads it is 55. We go at 75. On some roads it is 65 miles per hour. We go at 80. Every one of us, we know we are making a mistake. We know we are violating a rule. And yet we do constantly engage in violating dharma. Mahatma Desika says the same thing. How can anybody say stealing is sin? How can anybody say doing prohibited things are sinful? In spite of that, people do. And Vritradibhihi Parichitam Padavim Bhajami. We transgress every dharma following the familiar path of Vrittarasura. Vrittarasura knows he is going to die. Vrittarasura knows Indra prayed to Sriman Narayana. Sriman Narayana directed him to Dadichi. Dadichi sacrificed his life. And Vishwakarma took the backbone of Dadichi Maharshi with all his tapasya embedded in that and made a great weapon Vajrayudha. And that Vajrayudha is going to kill Vrittarasura. Still Vrittarasura came to fight with Indra. And Vrittarasura, Indra came to fight with Vajrayudha. Vrittarasura cut off his hand and Vrittarasura with one stroke made the Vajrayudha fall down and said, Indra, no point in having a great weapon. You should know how to use it. You don't even know. I don't blame you. Because this is the will of Lord Narayana, I should die. Go. You know what your strength is. Why I am coming here? Only to get rid of this curse that I am a demon given to me by Parvati. Go pick up that Vajrayudha. Now come on, get up. This time you kill me. This time you kill me. So, just as Vrittarasura knows dharma and adharma and still came to fight, same way we all know what is dharma, what is adharma, and still we indulge in adharma. And finally, Indra picked up again the Vajrayudha, cut off one hand of Vrittarasura. With the other hand, Vrittarasura was fighting. And Indra cut off the other hand. And still Vrittarasura kept on fighting. Finally, Vajrayudha cut off his head. Vrittarasura was so happy to leave the body. With that, Parvati's curse has come to an end. And Vrittarasura, none other than Chitraketu in the previous birth, went back to his spiritual life and attained salvation. So, Mahatma Desika says, we are all like that. We know what is dharma, we know what is adharma. In spite of that, we violate every scriptural injunction. Please, whether you do your japam, whether you do your pujas or not, don't commit sins. You want to increase your positive balance. When you want to increase your positive balance, why are you increasing your negative balance also? Our negative balance is our doing the adharma, doing prohibited activities. So whether we increase our positive balance or not, let us not do anything to increase our negative balance. This is called a viparita vriksha. Viparita vricha. It is not the ordinary way of dealing. We are doing things in the perverted way. Anything that is perverted is not acceptable to the Lord. That is how Mahatma Desika is appealing to Daya Devi. Not for his protection. He is using his example only to protect us. That in what a humble state we should be submitting ourselves to the Lord. Our ego is our big problem. Our anger is our big problem. These 6 enemies are our big problem. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsalya. These are our 6 enemies. So he is praying to Daya Devi. May we beg, O Daya Devi, that you appeal to the Supreme Lord to spare us from the severe punishments. Because we are in a very pitiable condition. Dine vibhogo, shamaya danda dharatta lila. Because whenever we make a mistake, we have to go through the punishment. And that punishment will be unbearable for us. Unbearable. Therefore, Daya Devi, please intervene on my behalf and appeal to the Lord to spare us all that severe punishment. And if you intervene, the Lord will certainly listen to you. The Supreme Lord will certainly listen to Daya Devi. That is the confidence Mahatma Desika has, that agreed we are worse sinners, but still Daya Devi can intervene on our behalf and spare us the severe punishment from the Supreme Lord Sriman Narayana. Ma sahasokti ghanakanchuka vanchitanyah pashyansu teshu vidadam yati sahasani padma sahaya karune na runetsi kintvam ghoram kulinga shakuni rivachishtitam me. Have you heard of one particular bird called Kulinga? Kulinga bird.
You are coming for the certificate to go downstairs. And they're saying about the Deepam, they have to do it outside.
Yeah, Deepam is outside.
Anytime they can start.
So this Kulinga bird, you know, this Kulinga bird is a very peculiar one. It is called a woodpecker. To make you remember what that bird is, called woodpecker. It has a very long beak. And you know, every time the Kulinga bird, it tells everyone, Ma sahasam kuru, Ma sahasam kuru. Don't take a risk, don't take a risk, it tells everyone. Don't take a risk, don't take a risk, it tells everyone. But you know what the bird itself will do? The bird itself is having a peculiar nature. A lion will go and kill an animal. And when the lion eats that animal, small specks of flesh will be there, sticking in between the teeth of that lion. And when the lion, after eating, is taking a nap, the lion will keep its mouth open, little bit snoring. This Kulinga bird will keep on jumping and flying into the mouth of the lion, only to pick that small speck of flesh that is there between the teeth of the lion. But what is it preaching? Ma sahasam kuru. Don't take a risk, don't take a risk. But what is the bird itself doing? It will fly into the mouth of the lion, only to pick the small amount of the speck of flesh sticking in between its teeth. But preaching, don't take a risk. Taking the biggest risk. That is what we are. Oh Daya Devi, please prevent us from doing any kind of risky acts. Like the Kulinga bird. The Kulinga birds which always preach, don't take a risk to all others. But will go on to pick the leftover meat pieces in between the teeth of a crocodile or a lion. Even crocodile's teeth, it can just crush. The lion can crush a bird, but still the bird is there so stupid, telling everyone not to take a risk, but itself flying into the mouth of a crocodile or a lion to pick the small specks of flesh sticking in between its teeth. So in the name of preaching to others, we tell them not to act in a dangerous way, but we cheat them all and ourselves by doing the most dangerous things. What are the most dangerous things that we do? Transgressing dharma. Satyam bruyat, we never tell truth. Be like Pativrata, we are not. Do dhanam, we are very greedy. Don't get angry. For everything we get angry. Kama, don't have desires that are forbidden. We only have forbidden desires. Krodha, don't get angry. We get angry for everything. Lobha, don't be greedy. We are extremely greedy. Moha, don't have attachments to anything materialistic. We have attachments only to materialistic things. Mada, don't be arrogant. We are extremely arrogant. Matsarya, don't be jealous of others, but we are very jealous. So that is how we are actually violating every dharma. Telling everyone not to do, but ourselves doing all the adharmas. So it is almost like preaching something and doing something opposite. Means living the life of a hypocrite. Living the life of a hypocrite. That's not the intention of dharma. That's not the intention of spiritual life. Spiritual life is to follow every dharma. Spiritual life is to be an acharya, not guru. Guru, do as I say. Acharya, do as I do. So, Bhagavan is so kind here that he has given us Mahatma Desika, who in turn has given us the Daya Shatakam. How we can change our lives and yet surrender to Lord Sriman Narayana through Daya Devi's intervention and attain salvation without waiting for many more births, not even waiting for Bhagavan Kalki to appear. Enjoy Bhagavan Kalki from Sri Vaikuntham and his Divya Leelas from Sri Vaikuntham, instead of being here on the planet Earth for another 105,000 years. The idea of spiritual life is not to stay here even 1 minute beyond this lifetime. So, Vikshepa Marhasi Daye Vipulayate Pim Vyajam Vibhavya Vishashaila Patir Viharan Swadhina Sattva Saranihi Swayamatra Jantau Jahiyasi Pradatara Guna Vaguratvam. Hey Daya Devi, you are the one and the only one. Tvam eva sharanam mama, one and the only one, who is capable of catching every one of us. We are almost like monkeys jumping from one to the other. If we are to be caught, somebody has to put a net and catch us. Daya Devi, you are the only one who can catch us with your net. What is your net? Kalyana Gunas. You are Daya Devi. You have all the Kalyana Gunas. You can easily catch us and rescue us. In a very simple way. And these Kalyana Gunas of the Supreme Lord of Vrishabhadri is just a sport for him, is a leela for him. And the snare you throw to capture and offer all of us at his holy feet. It is almost like the monkeys are just jumping everywhere. Daya Devi throws a net, catches, and takes all of us and throws us at the feet of Lord Sriman Narayana. That way, you will be making us stop from committing more and more adharmas, more and more unholy acts. And he says, especially people like me, who are very, very prone to make mistake after mistake, and who is even trying to run away from you. It is almost like a monkey running away from the person who tries to catch the monkey. It is almost like a child running away from the parents who are trying to beat him. It is almost like a dog that is running away when somebody tries to beat it. I will try to go away, but Daya Devi, you throw your net and you catch me, you drag me, you submit me at the feet of the Lord. You make sure I'll get salvation. What a wonderful way. Mahatma Desika says, as long as we are exercising our Swatantriyam, we are nowhere going to reach Sriman Narayana. Only when you go to Paratantriyam, only when we submit ourselves at the feet of our most merciful Acharyas, most merciful Daya Devi, and the most merciful Mother Sri Mahalakshmi, then only we can reach Lord Sriman Narayana. There are various steps. At every case, an Acharya is supposed to be so merciful. Daya Devi, embodiment of mercy. Mahalakshmi, nothing other than mercy in her eyes. We need so much of help of Daya Devi and enjoy being with the Supreme Lord in his company. Narayana, 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 Ma. Go ahead, Ma, if you have some questions or want to know something. Today is Tirumangayal Vastri Nakshatram. In a few minutes we have to start the Tirumanjanam and we will do the Sartumurai with all the Pashidams. Thanks for chanting. And tomorrow is Tirupanal Vastri Nakshatram. So we'll chant in the beginning. Go ahead, Ma. If you have some questions, please feel free. Ma, you can unmute your phones, Ma. Ma, no questions, Ma. First thing, make a promise to yourself and to the Supreme Lord, to your Acharyas, to Daya Devi, to Mahalakshmi, not to make mistakes. Unfortunately, if some mistakes are made, ask for forgiveness. And make up your mind not to repeat the mistakes. Daya Devi is so merciful, she will forgive us. That's why Mahatma Desika was so kind enough to give Daya Shatakam to us. So people chant Daya Shatakam hundreds and hundreds of times because it has the appeal. It is almost like a person going to a girl and keeps on saying and begs her to accept his love. Same thing, Mahatma Desika is begging Daya Devi to accept him under her protection. Go ahead, sir. Any questions, Amma? No? Hello?
Dasan,
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
What is the significance of Kartika Deepam in Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya?
See, the question of Kartika Deepam is some people feel the Kartika Deepam signifies the greatness of Tirumangai Alvar, who was not even interested in spiritual life in the beginning. He went to the most beautiful girl and proposed to her. And she said, if you feed at least 1,000 devotees every day for a year who are visiting Lord Ranganatha, do that and then come back and propose to me. And out of unimaginable attraction for her, Tirumangai Alvar, who comes from a very rich family, was spending all his wealth to feed the devotees. And he was enjoying feeding the devotees. But he forgot that 1 year is over. That lady herself came and said, do you know 1 year is over? And still you did not come and propose to me. I could see how much you are enjoying feeding the Bhagavatas. This is what I wanted in you. Enjoy serving the Bhagavatas. She came and begged, will you marry me? That's how he got united with his wife. And they were doing unimaginable service to the Lord. And he was the most fortunate person to build all the 7 prakarams of Lord Ranganatha in Srirangam. And finally, when the day came to do the Samprokshanam, everything was arranged. He had only one policy, beg, borrow or steal. He had some disciples who can walk on the water, who can break open any lock, who can steal without the knowledge of anyone, and used all that wealth to build all the 7 prakaras. Finally, when there was no money to pay for some of the masons and their work, literally he was crying before Ranganatha, who told him, tell them you buried all your wealth in the middle of Kaveri. Take them in a boat and turn the boat upside down in the middle of the river. I will give them salvation. That is the greatest wealth they can get. That's why that place is called Kollidam. And on the day of Samprokshanam, when there's practically nothing left to offer as jewelry to Bhagavan, Sri Ranganatha and Sri Ranganayaki, Mahalakshmi, Bhagavan himself wanted to please Tirumangai Alvar, came as a newly wedded couple, wife just wedded, bride and bridegroom, with all the jewelry on their body, right from Vaikuntham. He stripped them of all that jewelry and finally wanted to take even the toe rings of Bhagavan. Those days menfolk also had toe rings. And he could not remove the toe rings with his fingers. He literally bent and he wanted to take the toe rings out with his teeth. And as he tried to remove the toe rings of that bridegroom with his teeth, his head touched the feet of Lord Narayana. And all the ignorance is gone. Then he started singing, Vadineen, Vadineen. I have seen